Thank you so much, and thank you to Legal Services of New Jersey for inviting me to participate in this celebration today. What a wonderful occasion. I was so impressed with the work that Legal Services is doing in terms of creating this celebration that last year we actually began to celebrate Reunification Day in the Atlantic Cape May Vicinage as a separate event. And I look forward to doing it again this year, and we have dates in July for the celebration both in Atlantic County and Cape May County. As assignment judge, I am often contacted by judges about what kind of work what kind of assignments they're going to get. I want to acknowledge to you today that I don't have many judges knocking on my door asking to do children in court cases. These are the most difficult, emotionally charged cases, but in my view, are the most important cases in the courthouse. And I often tell judges when I ask them to serve as children in court judges that I am trusting them to do the most important case type in the courthouse. And I look for judges that, in my view, have the appropriate demeanor, attitude, perspective to handle these cases. I remember going back when I was first appointed, the assignment judge asked me to go to criminal, and I did. And 2 years later, after I was just settling criminal and I was figuring things out, he came over to me and says, indicated to me that he was moving me to the family part. And I wasn't too happy about it. When the assignment order was approved by the chief, and I went to family, I met with the then presiding judge, and she told me, I am going to ask you to handle children in court cases. That was in 2004. And ever since that time, I have been buying my Save the Children ties because I became totally connected with the case type. And I have handled every single one of the various cases and had the opportunity to do 5 days a week children in court cases for about 5 years. I enjoy the case type so much that even as assignment judge, and I may be the only one in the States, one of my colleagues think that I'm crazy for doing it, that I still handle children in court cases, and often hear termination cases and FN, abuse and neglect cases as well. So through the years, I had the opportunity to observe the system as a gatekeeper and realize the importance of the judge in this case type. From day one, I learned the importance of welcoming the parents, acknowledging how difficult it would be for them through this process, and trying to encourage them to work with their lawyers, with their division, with the caseworkers, and with the service providers and others that are all the stakeholders, and in achieving the goal that we had for their case. And I made it very clear to them from day one that that goal was reunification. That is the preferred permanency goal for every child that comes into the court system. I also had the opportunity to begin to develop some ideas to what works from my own perspective. Some of the things that I noticed that worked is when a caseworker or social worker, we call them caseworkers in New Jersey, a caseworker develops a connection with the family and the parents. That alliance of caseworker-parent, in my view, is directly connected to the success of the case. Other things are also very important. The availability of services. And unfortunately, there are not enough services available. Often parents have to wait for substance abuse services to be available. In my view, services related to visitation are not adequate in many instances. It is difficult to tell a parent, on the one hand, the goal is reunification, on the other hand, you're going to go see your child 1 hour a week. Developing more supervised visitation programs is something that I think we should all work on and continue to expand in New Jersey. Giving the parents the ability to be able to go to school, go to services, and work, and at the same time be able to see their children without interfering with those. It's very important in my view. And having evening and Saturday visitation programs, in my view, is something that we should all work on to create in our state, to continue to improve a child welfare system that works very well, in my view. And I saw the changes over the years. Often we read about the division when things don't go well. In the courtroom, day in and day out, we see many cases when things do go well. When we have a good caseworker, we have good services, we have extraordinary efforts on the part of the division to make things happen for the family. And I go out of my way to say thank you to our Child Protection Agency in New Jersey that makes sure that our children are safe. And safety is the paramount, primary, founding principle of children in court cases. And moving from there comes family preservation and reunification in my perspective. And over the years, I was able to observe many, many success stories of parents that work hard, that in many instances acknowledged their issues that they had, and participated in the services, developed a good connection with their lawyers, with the service providers, and with the caseworkers to make things happen. And one of the happiest days in my courtroom was the day that I was able to sign an order returning a child home, and went out of my way often to come off the bench and thank and hug the parent for doing the things that they did for themselves, but more importantly for their children. And I have developed an absolute connection with this case type over the years. I've committed to it, continue to do the work myself, do all I can to move it forward. And a day like today is a day of tremendous joy, where we celebrate reunification, and where we, not only the parents that are here that have succeeded in achieving that, but also to create an incentive for the others that are going through the process, the legal process, a difficult, sometimes complicated a legal process that many times parents do not understand, and they have difficulty accepting some of the decisions that are made initially, and hopefully learning from the successes. They will themselves move forward and do the things that they need to do so that they can likewise achieve what we all want, which is families to be together, children to be together with their parents. I am particularly proud today about 2 Atlantic County families that are being acknowledged. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about one of those families and make some comments about the case as I read some of the notes. I met with Judge Plea, who's one of our children in court judges, who gave me some information on the case, and it's the KC family. This involved a young mother who was struggling with substance abuse, which is one of the things that we're discussing today. I often saw a lot of common denominators in families that needed to be corrected. Substance abuse, domestic violence, lack of safe and stable housing, and sometimes an underlying mental health issue that has gone untreated. And dealing with all of those are very important so that we can get to the point where we can, as judges, make a decision, and the division as the child protection agents to make a recommendation, and the law guardians to make a presentation on behalf of their clients, and the attorneys representing the parents do likewise, to recommend that the family is now ready to have the child reunified. So this young mother with one child has difficulty with substance abuse. The child was removed, initially placed with a family out of state, and eventually placed with a foster family in New Jersey. And let me stop there for a moment. I think the division has done a wonderful job over the last several years, I'll say maybe 5 to 10 years, of looking for placements with relatives. And while we still struggle with out-of-state placements, and that's something that perhaps will take a great commitment by many to fix, we are beginning to see more and more and more placements with family. And that facilitates many things in the case. It facilitates the process of visitation, which I referred to earlier. It gives hope to the parents that the child is with family. It provides the child the opportunity to be with someone often that they know. I would often tell young judges when I talk to them about placement issues, say, close your eyes and think about an 8-year-old being placed with a strange family that they in a different school. It's very difficult. And placement with family is something that the division should be receive a tremendous amount of credit over the last several years. It was soon discovered that this child, who was about 1.5 years, had severe medical issues and was hospitalized several times. Indeed, the child continues to have significant medical issues. The mother began participating in services, and at the beginning, she had a relapse. Relapse is part of recovery, and it often happens. Sometimes it's difficult for us to understand, but it often happens. But eventually, the mother persevered. Resilience, perseverance is something that we often talk about, parents, in this process. And she completed substance abuse services. In that process, the mother developed a good relationship with a particular therapist. You know, that turning point in every case, as I see it, is when a parent begins to trust the work and the involvement of someone in their case. Often, it should be the caseworker, in my view, but in this instance was a therapist who, according to Judge Plea, wrote the most positive report he has ever seen about this mother and her commitment and her hard work. She began maintaining her sobriety, developing an appreciation for the division and the services that she was being asked to complete, participated actively in family team meetings. What a wonderful tool that is. The opportunity of sitting around a table in a more relaxed atmosphere and talk about how we're going to take care of the issues to get this child back home. And that has been a wonderful tool that has been developed, and I'm very pleased with as a judge, with that tool and the division's use of family team meetings. At one point, this mom, who was also completing services and began attending community college, did something very unusual in this case. She needed transportation, and she read about a local nonprofit organization that was sponsoring an essay contest. The winner of the essay contest would win a car. But guess what? She wrote this essay detailing her personal struggle, her work work towards defeating substance abuse, the lack of stability in her life, and the extensive medical needs of her child. Her essay was so compelling that she won the car. So here comes the case before Judge Blee, and he orders the division to get insurance for the car. And I often did things like that, and I was told by the attorneys representing the division, doing their job, Judge, you can't do that. I said, well, I'm doing it. So I actually ordered the division in one instance to buy a car for a family that has 6 children, buy a van. While they didn't pay the whole price of the van, they were able to assist the family in obtaining a substantial down payment to buy a van for that family of 6 children. The judge, as a gatekeeper, as the leader, needs to show everyone that the judge is able to go the extra mile on behalf of the family, so that especially someone that is taking the initiative to do services and to work hard to get their child back is rewarded in some way. And in this instance, Mom got her car and got her insurance. She was able to impress the division about her commitment and about the understanding of the child's medical needs, which were substantial, and her ability to meet those needs and to provide the child with safe and stable housing and permanency. That eventually a recommendation came before the court for reunification. And that was 15 months ago. And since that time, the child has been home with Mom, and the child's been well taken care of. She has maintained her sobriety, and she's working on completing her community college and getting her associate's degrees. I think that's a wonderful story, and one that takes the parents' efforts, the division's involvement to provide safety, to provide services, the court's involvement. I'm very proud of the court system in New Jersey. I've had the opportunity to see what happens in many other states around the country. I'll tell you, we do a very good job of this case type, in my view. With the enactment of ASFA about 15 years ago or thereabouts, we have really come a long ways in reviewing, supervising, and protecting the rights of children and families that come before us. And I think the system in New Jersey, the child welfare system in New Jersey, still has a ways to go, but I think we've made tremendous improvements. I just want to take one final comment and just take the time to congratulate all the families that are here that are going to be acknowledged and honored, and also all those reunification heroes, the people that make things happen. And it involves everyone in the system, whether it is CASA or the law guardian or the attorneys representing the families or the court personnel, everyone in the system working together along with the families equals success in the case. And success, in most cases, is reunification. And that's what we're here for today, to celebrate that. And congratulations to the honorees and to the heroes. And if you ever come to Atlantic or Calumet County, look me up. Thank you very much.